All right. I thought it may be interesting to go ahead and show you the material that I'm using and what it's like, after you actually put fiberglass on it. So this is just a little demonstration. Now, this stuff is Pink Panther stuff you get from Home Depot. They're about 28 to $31 for a 4x8 sheet, 2-inch thick. That depends on insulation value, R10, R8, whatever, which of course is of absolutely no consequence to the boat. The question is, does it float? It's the closed cell stuff. It's extruded polystyrene, all right, which means it's not like your coolers, okay? It's closed cell foam. It's referred to a bunch of stuff, but and I was never able to get to the bottom of how much, per cubic foot this would float. I saw estimates from 55 to 63 or whatever, which is basically, what is that? It's not Pythagorean's theorem. Archimedes' principle. Yeah, I'm not a mathematician. Anyway, this stuff is brittle. All right, and this is some scrap that I have left over. So, watch. All right, you see that? I mean, that didn't take much force at all, right? I mean, it just, all right? Now, let me show you after it's been glassed. You can hear the difference, and it will break it. Okay, because this only has 2 layers of 6-ounce cloth on it. So you can imagine what it's going to be like when I put another layer on, which I intend to, and perhaps 2 more, depending on how much glass and how much resin I have left, and whether I'm willing to spend any more money. But you can see that, I mean, you can't even feel the difference. You can only barely see a crack. And these are other ones where I've tested. So, but anyway, I thought that may be interesting, just so you guys get an idea of, just how strong this stuff gets after being fiberglass. Again, with very, very, very lightweight cloth. We're talking 6-ounce stuff. We're not talking, heavy-duty stuff at all. So that's how strong fiberglass and epoxy resin is in combination. I will personally attest to it. And, again, I have no idea to measure what that impact was, pounds per square foot, however you would even measure that. I don't even know. I'm just talking out my what. But you can see that, something really wrong has happened if I run into anything with this boat at an impact greater than that. Plus, this is, that was a direct hit with a corner. I have no way of measuring it, nor do I really care to. That is the I don't know, dumbass method of testing, which is my method of testing. Hit hard and see what happens. And you know what? It worked. So anyway, just thought I would show that to you guys. For those of you considering using foam as a flotation material, I, again, strongly recommend it for a couple reasons. And well, actually, I'll just go into them right now. Number one, it's about the same cost as a 3/4 inch plywood 4x8 sheet. All right, so you get a 4x8 sheet of. Now, obviously, this is different. This is because I needed something different. This is green stuff from Lowe's. Lowe's sells green. Home Depot sells the pink stuff, but it's the same damn shit. It's extruded polystyrene, XPS foam, closed cell, whatever you want to call it. Again, it's styrofoam that's actually not styrofoam, because styrofoam is technically the stuff you buy in the coolers. you can see it's got like a bunch of little bubbles, or not bubbles, little pieces that are somehow stuck together, which, whatever, you know. I have no idea the science behind it. You've already seen the test float, most likely, video where you saw that it barely went down. I mean, these are 16 inches high, okay, by 8 foot long and 24 inches wide. So, and that was with me in the boat weighing, at that point, 800 pounds, maybe? Something along those lines. Best guess. And I'm not a big guy. I was a little bigger then. I probably weighed 165, 170 in there. I'm a guy that I'll lose 5 pounds if I'm like out doing something in the sun, sweating for a few hours. I'll lose 5 pounds like that. My metabolism, although I'm still 40, luckily it's been pretty good. I got my dad's genes in that respect. So, you know, whatever. But I would say somewhere between 165 and 175 is what I weighed. The boat weighed, again, with the battery, which is 55 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, as well as the trolling motor, which is not much at all. I think that was 25 pounds. I have it written down, but anyway, at the time, the boat weighed about 800 pounds. And so with me, and that included the trolling motor and the battery. You know, so with me, you know, roughly 1,000 pounds, and it barely, I think barely took 2 inches, maybe 3 inches of foam. All right, maybe 3 inches of foam. It sunk down with me on it, with my wife and my kid, and all the fishing gear and everything. You know, it stayed about the same, quite frankly. It barely moved. I never really truly measured it. I just wanted to make sure that it was stable, sort of from listing, and, you know, you could walk on it and all that sort of stuff. I jumped off it fine. I climbed back on it fine. I moved around, you know. So I've added significant weight. This boat's probably going to weigh over 1,000 pounds with the modifications. More cross members, okay, and the railing system it is a lot more. And then I beefed up what I call the running boards, which is they're now 2x8s that run. Well, they run along the bottom, and one 2x8 by 10 foot connects the two pontoons together. Okay, that's what connects it. When I take it apart, I'll show you that. But basically, the bolts, and I have plans for next year to get rid of the fact that the bolts are going to come through the top of the deck. But this year I want to splash it. I want to get it registered and all that stuff. I want to get it titled. I have to get it titled in Ohio, unfortunately. Which means I have to go to the watercraft office, put this thing together. I can't wait to see that guy's face. Yeah, because he has to issue me a whole identification number. Then I take that and I get a title, and then I get it registered. And, you know, it's just money and paperwork and time. I mean, I understand why it's done, so. Yeah. So, the boat weighs, anyway, where was I? Oh, I was showing you how strong the fiberglass made the foam. And the foam, I think, at a minimum, I've calculated, because of a safety factor, of 50 pounds per cubic foot, which I think that's way low. I think it's at a minimum, honestly, going to be more like 55 pounds per cubic foot. The front pontoons, because of the cone sort of shape I made, the triangle, is about 19 something, I can't remember. The back pontoons, because they're totally square, are 21 cubic foot, pretty much on the nose, 21 and some change. So you do the math. I mean, this thing's probably going to hold 44 100 pounds or more before it, and that would take total submersion. That's including the weight of the boat. So if the boat is, 1,100 pounds, what does that give me? 44, 30, 3,300 pounds or something, right? Wait, Jesus, I should never do math in my head again. Anyway, and the other thing is there's something called the pontoon effect, which means basically, including the weight of the boat, you never want more weight on the boat than one side of it can handle. So basically what I'm trying to do, again with my safety factors, is keep it and say, look, this thing can float 4,000 pounds. I want it to float halfway down, no matter what, or, no more than that, I should say. So we're looking at 2,000 pounds. The boat weighs 1,000 pounds, so I can put 1,000 pounds on it. And that way, and if the weight's evenly distributed, then it would sink down halfway. I think it's not even going to sink down halfway. I think because basically you want at least one half of the boat to be able to hold all the weight, including the boat weight, so that it doesn't submerge. So I think I'm okay. I'm okay because the boat's only 16. Well, the deck is only 14 foot long by 8 foot wide. I don't really want more than 3 or 4 people on it. I don't want more than 3 or 4 people on it, really. They'll get too crowded, and so I have a family of 4, most likely. When I go out, that'll be it on it. Perhaps my brother. He's a pretty big guy. He's over 6 foot and close to 200 pounds, I would suggest. But anyway, I think I'm going to be fine putting 1,000 pounds on the boat, 1,000 pounds of the boat, and I think it'll be able to withstand that, what they call the pontoon effect. So anyway, what started out as a simple demonstration as to the strength of the fiberglass has turned into another explanation. I tend to ramble. I may cut this down. I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. Talk to you later.